Soledad O'Brien has produced this documentary. It's called Black and Missing, airing on HBO, and she is joining us right now to talk about this. Soledad, welcome back to
Nice,
TMZ Live.
guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, the interesting thing about timing, though, is that I covered Natalie Holloway. I covered John Benet Ramsey, right? So the timing is unfortunately consistent. There are always stories horribly about young people, young women who are missing. It's just that people who are people of color don't get much coverage.
You've looked at this for so long. Is the I think it's a combination of pretty and white. Is there one that is more preeminent than the other in terms of what seems to get the attention?
I think the combination is really what will connect with our audience? And often pretty and white is what connects with the audience. And listen, there are certainly a lot of pretty Black girls who've gone missing that nobody seems to care about their stories. I mean, in the middle of our documentary, there's a woman who talks about trying to advocate for her niece, who's gorgeous, a gorgeous young Black woman. And literally all the news organizations they don't even bother to return her calls, as if, they would just never do that. Immediately afterward, Natalie Holloway goes missing.
Right.
And he talks about what it feels like to watch all the systems get into place. People in mass going to Aruba to search for a girl when she can't get anybody to return her calls for her equally pretty young niece. And I think it's a very clear example of, what the bias is. And yeah, I think newsrooms are biased to pretty people, but pretty and white, race does play a role.
So it sounds like your answer is that the white is what weighs more with the media.
Yeah, I think white for sure, and also pretty in media helps. Listen, I had a job once anchoring a show where the producers would look at the back of the jacket of a book to see, was the author of the book attractive? Because if they weren't attractive, we were not going to put them on the air.
Soledad, what a lot of people say is, look, the media tends to be liberal, and the media has been they've been a proponent of civil rights, about equality, and all of this. This seems to fly in the face of all of that.
I think it's more that there's just tremendous bias, and people are biased to people who look like them, who they can identify with, and often they choose what they believe their audience will care about. I remember anchoring the pre-trial motions for Oscar Pistorius, and we wallpapered that case. I was at CNN at the time. We wallpapered that case with I think it was his fiancée, his girlfriend.
Right.
Who was beautiful, a beautiful blonde woman. But there was, one, no reason for us to be covering a case that was unfolding in New Zealand. And two, it was very clear that the whole entire point was to use the platform to roll pictures of a very gorgeous girl. Horrible tragedy, absolutely deserved to be covered, but did it need to be covered the way that we were doing it, which was really not focusing on the trial, or in that case, the pre-trial hearing. It was really about, here's a picture of a very attractive woman. That was just a fact.